Hello, fellow Sudokans, and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle for Tuesday, the 18th of January, uh, 2022. I've just put my glasses on. Oh, they're smeared. Hold on a second while I wipe maybe they're cat paw prints off of my glasses. I don't know why they're smeared, but anyway. Okay, that's a bit better. I can see what's on the screen now, or actually on the paper. Um, right. Guardian Sudoku medium level day because that's what Tuesday is, and actually Tuesday is normally a kind of easy level game, but with a medium label. Generally, that's what it is. Let's talk about something I saw in the news. Citizen um, Citizen Science Games. What's that? I hear you ask. Yeah, me too. I had no idea about this, but I've just recently read an article in the Daily Beast. Not my favourite organ, but anyway, this was quite interesting about online games that will actually advance science when people play them. So the actual use of the game itself by many players can do several things. Might enhance the use of particular data, and also might actually reveal some people with great skills in this kind of field, especially people from poorer countries who wouldn't have the chance to learn about these kind of topics. A couple of places mentioned. There's iwire.org, and in that game you 3D map branches of an individual neuron from 2D images of real brain data. Sounds like fun if you play video games. I must admit my video games career stopped back in the 1980s. I don't think I've played any games on video games since then, or hardly ever. I know some people love them, even up until old age. They continue to play them, but I must admit my enthusiasm for them, which I did have when I was young, waned enormously when they started getting quite complex. No, that's not the reason. I just had other things more interesting in life, and I just never really got back into them. Another website that's mentioned where you can play both of these games online, and they're free, of course. Eternagame.org, and that's where you can design strands of RNA from scratch. And so this is amazing. I hope this is really well publicized, and I hope lots and lots of young people and even not so young people get into it and play the play the game, and also become more scientifically aware. This is a very important thing. The teaching of science is one of the most important things that we can do. Mathematics as well, and statistics, particularly in these days where people don't understand. Large numbers are thrown around at people without them really understanding what that actually entails, what it really means. And statistics, especially, is a difficult topic to understand. But once you understand a lot of it, then your whole understanding of the world can be changed, can be skewed into a more scientific way. Right then. So how do we play this game of Sudoku? We probably have beginners with us today. Well, we have a grid that has 9 squares in rows across, 9 squares in columns down, and 9 squares in each of these blocks. And we fit numbers 1 to 9 in there. And that's it, really. That's the rules of the game. Rule or rules. I'm not sure if it's one or more than one, but anyway. What we need to do is to find out how we fit the numbers in. So let's take this blocker as an example. Right now we don't have an 8 in this block. We have 9, 4, 1, and 3. So we need all the other numbers. We need 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to fit into these empty squares. Okay. Now, very close by to this block, you can see a couple of 8s. They're adjacent, and so very easy to notice. So if you follow the path, now if you remember that a number can appear only once in its row, column, or block, well then this 8 clearly can't appear in these 2 squares here, because we already have an 8 in this column. And this 8 clearly can't appear in this row, because right next door, look, it blocks these two squares. So we have a kind of blocking pattern up here, across there. So we know that the 8 has to fit in that square there. It's the only square available for it, okay? And that's how we work out where to place the numbers. We don't guess. This is not a guessing game. Let's take the 3s, the 3 blocks across this row here like this, the 3 blocks across this row like this. So no, 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 no for 3. And then this 3 blocks up this column here, stopping that square from becoming a 3. And so we know that 3 will have to be in that square because there's nowhere else for it to go. Poor thing. Right, so just, you know, skirt your eyes around the board. Is that a verb, to skirt? That's not the right verb, but anyway, shift your eyes around the board and look for anything that looks like you, especially if you see digits that there appear to be quite a few of them that can help you to begin with. I always start in a kind of random fashion, but you might find it better to start going through the digits on a, you know, one by one. But anyway, I've noticed this 4 blocks across this row here, and this 4 blocks across this row here, and the 4 blocks down here, and so we can put a 4 into this square here. I'm suddenly realised I haven't had breakfast, and I suddenly got hungry for breakfast. But I've just also realised my cat hasn't had breakfast, so I should speak quietly. I hope it doesn't wake up. Right, now that we've put an 8 here, we've limited the number of squares available in this column. So now there's just this square available for a 2, because 2 blocks up here and 2 blocks down here. A moment ago we would have had 2 empty squares and we couldn't have said where the 2 goes, but now we can, because we've got a digit here and this is the only empty square, so a 2 must fit there like that. Okay, are you ready to kind of think slightly ahead? Now, I know that this is usually a beginner's game, and so we have people who are new to Sudoku, but one thing is to kind of follow the patterns around the board, you know, like just imagining where things are going to be and where they are not going to be. Okay, it's not that difficult. You just need to kind of think in straight lines. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, this 5 blocks across this row. Do you agree? Okay, so where will the 5 go? Well, either here or here. We can't quite tell where, but wherever it goes, it's in this column in these 2 squares. So that means up here or down here, 5s cannot exist because 5 will either be here or here, right? So let's bring it down and say, okay, 5 can't appear here. No 5 is here, and we have a 5 blocking here, right? So that means 5 will be in this square or this square. Now we still can't say where it goes, but we know that 5 will be in one of these 2 squares, right? So if we now bring this across and say 5 cannot appear again in this row, we now block this row right across this. These 3 blocks together we call a shoot. Okay, so right across this shoot here. So 5 blocks this top row, top 3 squares of this shoot. Okay, this 5 blocks the middle 3 squares of this shoot. So blocked and blocked, and now we have a 5 blocking down here and a 5 blocking down here. So it seems a little bit convoluted. It's actually easy to see though. When you just cast your eyes along, you'll find these patterns are not that difficult to spot once you've done it a few times, and you know that's what you should do. Practice doing it. Like all things, Sudoku is much better the more you practice. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. What's that song? Anyway, 8 blocks across here, 8 blocks down here. So where will the 8 go? Either here or here, one of these two squares, right? And that will block up this column. This 8 blocks up this column. And so the 8 will go in the remaining square where it can go, which is there. Let's by the way, if you are new to the channel, you should know that I have no idea of the final outcome of these games because I don't play them ahead of time. I just simply just switch on the camera and then start looking at the puzzle. I have absolutely no idea of the actual final answer and how easy or difficult it's going to be. Yesterday's easy level game for the Guardian was actually tougher than normal, beginner level I call it, but still it was it required some level of thought, and today's also is a little bit tougher than normally true, I think. Okay, the 8 blocks up here, 8 blocks up here, and 8 blocks across here, so that will put an 8 into that square there. Sorry for my slowness. Like I said, I actually have no idea of the answers. I could do some more complicated things, but I don't want to just yet. Okay, here's a 5 blocking up this column and a 5 blocking across here. That puts a 5 into that square there. Yeah, this is really quite an interesting game. I wasn't expecting it to be, I'm going to say as difficult as this. I don't think that it's a difficult game that I would have trouble playing it, but I just mean for a Tuesday in medium level game, as they classify it, it's quite a bit harder than their normal Tuesday easy game, medium game, sorry. And so, but because I think that normally Tuesdays we have beginners with us, I don't want to make it overly complex. Okay, so let's... No, that's not going to help. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to start really looking at this game. I'm quite shocked, really. Hmm. it's our lack of sixes that's really giving us a headache here, I think. Um, hmm. All right, sit up and take notice. I'm talking to myself, by the way, not you. Right, let's be a bit more serious about this then. I'm laughing at myself because I had come into this game with the attitude that it was going to be really, really easy because on a Tuesday it nearly always is. And I find myself, well, actually, I'm really having to think quite hard about it. So, and not even making that much progress. Um, I've seen a lot of restrictions, things that can be done, but not found the next digit that I could easily explain. So I've got to keep at it. It's quite okay. Um, Good grief. All right, I'm going to have to go through this one by one. I'm getting nowhere. Okay, options for one. There are too many. Ones are here in this square. Ones are, here and here we have a pair of 1 and 4. And we have 1 blocking down here, 1 blocking down here, 4 blocking down here, 4 blocking down here. So we know that 1 and 4 must be in these two squares here. Unfortunately though, 2 can go here, 8 can go here, and the other missing number is 6, which can go in those two squares. So we don't have any solution that we can get from here with the ones. That's what I keep looking at. I've been looking at it for ages. Right. The twos then, what's happening with twos? We've got 2 in these two squares here. As I said, 2 is either here or here. And then here we don't know very much. So, not much to say down there. The 3s are in these two squares here. Here and here, and then like this, so that's not much use. The 4s are in these two squares here, and these two squares, and these 3 squares, so again that's not good enough to help us. The 5s are in these two squares up here. You see the 5. What I'm doing is, of course, if you're new, I'm blocking, using my eye to scan along the line and see where things go. 5 goes in these two squares here. Finally found it. Okay, one way forward. That's easy. Right, this column does not yet have a 5. So we see a 5 blocking this square, a 5 blocking this square. So these two squares can't be 5 because they're intersected here. And this 5 stops this square. So there is only this square in this column that can be a 5. That's not that great though, is it? Let's continue on. I'll talk to myself here. So 6s I mentioned go here and here. 6s can be here. Okay, 6 blocks this square here. So 6 will have to be in one of these two squares here. Do you agree? Because it blocks this 6 blocks here. So 6 blocks there, which will block up there. So let's consider now 6 blocking up here, 6 blocking up here, and 6 blocking there. So a 6 will appear in that square there. Sevens will appear here or here, up there like that, here and here, and then down there anywhere. Okay, what else do we need? 8s. Nines in these two squares, like across here, here, there. Okay, 9 blocks across this row now. Okay, so 9 will be in one of these two squares, so let's bring it back. So 9 is either here or here. Still can't place it, but let's say bring it back and it blocks that square there. So 9 blocks across here, 9 blocked from there. Finally, I feel like we made a slight bit of progress because that's a useful digit now. Okay, so the 9 blocks down here, this 9 blocks up here. So we can place our 9 in that square. The missing numbers here and here are 2 and 7. We've got 1, we don't have a 2, and we don't have a 7 yet for this block. Now this 7 stops that square from being a 7. So the 7 goes here and the 2 goes there. We still need a 7 for this row. We don't yet have a 7 in this row. We see a 7 blocking that square. So we know a 7 must fit there. And we just need one other digit to complete this row, which is an 8. So we'll put in the 8 there. Right, okay. So I think that's changed it quite a lot, really. But I've still got to do the work. Still got to put in the viewing. Okay, so this 7 blocks across here and this 9 blocks across here. So we know that 7 and 9 are in these two squares. Now we still can't place them. We don't have any intersecting 7s or 9s, but importantly, we must be able to tell the missing number here. So if this is 7 or 9, we just need to find the other number that will complete this row. And in fact, the other number is 1. We don't have a 1 in this row. This is 7 or 9. We've got everything else. And so the 1 must fit there. The missing numbers up here are 1 and 5, and we still can't place them. This is really quite intricate for a medium level Tuesday game for the Guardian. It's much more it's much trickier than their normal Tuesday games. It really is. Now what we can say is 5 blocks this square, so 5 is in one of these two squares, right? 5 blocks here, so 5 is here or here. Now when that 5 blocks up there and this 5 blocks across there, we can in fact say that the 5 goes there. And if you remember, we needed a 1, or you could just see this 1 blocks across there. So 1 fits there. 1 blocks down this column, 1 blocks down this column. A 1 will go here. 1 blocks down this column, 1 blocks this row, 1 will fit into that square there. We have just 1 empty square for this column here, and the missing number is a 7. We don't yet have a 7. If you want to check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 7. There's 8 and 9. So if you want to double check, you can count through and find out what it is. 7 blocks down here, 7 blocks across here, and across here. So 7 will fit into that square there. Five blocks up this column, 5 blocks across here, so that will be a 5. And if you remember, the missing numbers here were 5 and 6. If you don't remember, you can check through the other numbers and find it out. But 5 blocks here, so 5 is in that square and 6 in that square. Six now blocks down this column, and so 6 will be here. Okay, a little bit more to do. We can find this number. Okay, if you see a pattern like this, look, we have 2 numbers to complete in this block, and then we have 1 other for this row, which will involve these 2 missing numbers. So we are sure to be able to work this out. So that's really the place. Oh, I've got 1 missing here, I know, I'll cut answer in a minute, but this one is interesting, right? So what's missing from here? 2 and 3. So when we look up this column, we know that this is 2 and 3 in here. So we're looking for everything else. Everything else actually is a 4. We don't yet have a 4 in that column. We have every other number, imagining that 2 and 3 goes here. So we can place our 4 there like that. The missing number for this column now is a 2. We don't have a 2. And this 6 stops this square from being 6, so 6 goes there. 8 is the last number we need there, and now 8 blocks across here and across this row and down this column and down this column, so 8 will be placed in that square there. Right, where are we now? Really a good game for the Guardian, surprisingly so. Even right now, it's still making me work, even at this late stage, when things are normally very straightforward. I'm still having to do work here. Okay, this column here does not yet have a 2, you agree? This 2 blocks this square, this 2 blocks this square, and this 2 blocks this square. So these 3 squares are not allowed to be 2. So finally, okay, now we can finish, I think. The last number there is 6. And 6 blocks down here, 6 blocks across here, so 6 will fit there. 6 blocking down here, 6 blocking down here, 6 across here. That will be a 6. We know 1 and 9 are there, so 2 and 3. And it's still fighting, even to the end. I just simply can't believe it. It's fighting to the end. This Sudoku game does not want to submit. It really doesn't. And this is actually, that's the kind of game that I love. 4 blocking down here, 4 blocking down here, 4 across here. The more of a challenge it is, the better it is. Except when you get to the point where it's really an impossible challenge and you just can't find the answer, then it's just frustrating, I guess. But you know, a certain level of challenge is really good. There's 2 blocks this square. We don't yet have a 2 in this column. Let's put it in, and I think it's a 3 that we need to finish, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, just checking that everything looks okay. Now we have 1 digit missing for this row. The missing number for this row is 9. We don't yet have a 9. 9 blocks up here, so 9 will be in that square there. Now we have 1 number missing across here. It's a 1, or you could say this 1 blocks this square. We don't have a 1 here yet. 3 will be the number to complete this block here, and that stops this square from being a 3. So the 3 goes here, and a 2 appears in that square there. We have 1 number missing down here. It's a 1. Let's place it. 2 stops this square from being a 2, so the 2 goes here. 7 is our last number necessary for this block, or this column, whichever way you look at it. Now we have 1 number missing across this row, and it's a 7. We'll put in that 7, and that stops that square from being 7, so 7 appears there. 9 is the last number that we need there. That stops this from being a 9, so the 9 goes here, and 4 will finish the game. Okay, that took a long time, much longer than ever on a Tuesday, really. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you managed to solve the game yourself. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.